right?
7 up.
Oh, well, actually, hey guys, we're live. I'll put them up on the screen, but I guess, no, you don't have to read it because I could read it to you.
Okay,
But so then they'll be reading it and they'll know. Hey guys, we got Cheryln and Jill here. No, don't worry, Cheryln. I'll read it so you don't have to worry.
Okay,
but just so they know what you're answering.
Yeah. I look terrible in my Edna glasses.
Wait, where did you look good in your glasses? You had them on earlier, right? When you just first got on, Cheryln? Yeah, they look good, I thought. Hey everybody, how's everybody doing? Got a special guest, Cheryln Cadle, with us. Like you guys don't know. Everybody has been anticipating this. So, let's see who's on chat. Oh, Jeep Girl, thanks for joining. Look at like, Randy, that's you, Randy.
I'm in private. I'm so silly. I'm trying to comment in the private chat.
Oh yeah, it's all good. Okay, so Jill, so do you want me to like just ask some of my questions first, or do you want?
That would be great.
Okay.
I'm off my phone.
So I'm gonna start. I try to put them in somewhat a good order, but they might kind of get out of order. Okay. So I'm going to start from the beginning because I have been very curious. So as far as your first interview with Chris, your first in-person interview, do you remember like what it was like? Was it on a screen or in person? I forget what you said.
The very first time we were on, he was on the other side of the wall from where I was at, but we had a window and a screen, and then I had the telephone. We talked by phone. Back and forth, but we could see each other very clearly.
Okay.
And
were you going to say something else?
It was it was eerie. You asked me what it was like. It was very eerie for me. I mean, I was never been in a jail or a prison before until that time. And, when they went to get him, he was still in protective custody. So they had to lock down all the hallways to walk him through. And I could hear people yelling and screaming. And I knew he was coming because of that. He had told me that's how it is when they locked everything down. People, get kind of upset that they had to go back to their cell for them to walk him through. And so by the time he got there and sat down, I was pretty nervous.
I bet.
Yeah.
What was his demeanor like? Was he, I'll put the next, was he shy? Did you have to like pry answers out of him, or how was he? Was he talkative, or did you kind of have to like pry the answers out? You know how in some of these interviews they had to keep asking him.
Was he quiet like everyone says and doesn't say much, or was he talkative and assertive in the conversation?
He was very. You cut out a little bit. So did you ask me what his demeanor was?
Yeah, if he was shy, or did you have to like pry answers out of him, or what? How was that?
Not at all.
How was it?
Because everyone said he's so quiet, and that he never said anything. He was always the quiet one in the group. So I wondered how it was one-on-one with you two. Was it the same?
Well, one-on-one, he's very friendly, and he was very talkative. Now, the one thing that really bothered me, and I called him out on it, is that he wouldn't look at me when he talked. He kept looking down. And so finally I said...
Eye blocking,
I did eye blocking.
Yes.
Yeah, he said he's always been that way, and he had even asked his mother as a child why he couldn't look at people when they talked. But that bothered me. But then he tried to look at me when he talked, after that. But he was very forthcoming from the get-go. He was more than willing to talk to me about everything that had happened. So it wasn't like any had to
did it seem rehearsed, like he had been waiting to tell you that, or was it natural flowing out?
Well, that was the first time I had met him, but it seemed very natural.
Okay.
It seemed like he needed to talk. But then I was the first person to see him since he had left Colorado. And I don't know, other than his family the night before his sentencing, I don't know if he had seen anyone in Colorado. Maybe he did, but I was the first one he had seen in a long time. So he was, ready to talk. And
So it
didn't
sound
like
he
just wanted to get it off his chest.
Okay. So it didn't sound like he was telling a story like Kim claims. Like, oh, he tried to remember the story from the second confession for Cheryln, and he was trying to tell the story, and he forgot some of it, and he just tried to. Yeah, okay.
No, that is absolutely not true. And I will tell you, she has made the statement that I told him that I would write his testimony as long as he gave the testimony that he gave to the FBI. That is not true. That is not what I said. What I said to him is I wanted the truth. I didn't want to be, I played games with. I didn't want him to tell me something other than what really happened. I wanted him to just tell me the truth. That's all that I said to him. And no, none of that was true that she said.
So what did he tell you? What did you ask, I guess, to get the conversation going at first?
Yeah.
Well, I said to him, once we, made our initial hellos and stuff like that, chatted just a little bit, then I just said, can you tell me what happened? And is everything that you told the FBI the way it really happened? And he said, well, for the most part, it is how things happen, but I didn't tell them everything because he said, frankly, I was really kind of ticked off that they just showed up like that. They didn't give me any warning that they were coming. And so he said, I took advantage of, especially when they told me they wouldn't tell anyone whatever I said. And he said they didn't even give him time to tell his family. They immediately put it out there. So I don't know how true that is. I don't know at what point,
He told you that the very first
after he talked to the FBI.
After he talked, so that's something he's repeated. So it makes me wonder if it's true because he's not a confrontational person. Yeah.
So when he did talk about what he did to his children, was that face to face or was that in a letter? Like when he told how he basically killed them twice and stuff. Was that just in a letter, or did you get to talk to him in person about it?
No, he told me that in person, but then I asked him if he would go ahead and put. Yeah.
Oh wait, you cut out. Can you say that again?
I don't know if it's my phone line or.
You're kind of cutting, but then try to. You cut out. Can you answer that again? Can you hear me?
Can you hear me?
Yeah, I can hear you.
You cut out too.
Oh shoot!
You were cutting out really bad. Okay. Can you just ask the question one more time?
I don't remember. Was that my question? When he talked
about the children, it was face to face, and you also had him write it in a letter.
Yes, I asked him to write it out for me and just to tell all the details, because I will be honest with you, the first time I talked to him, it was for 5 hours. And by the time I was done, I felt like my brain was fried. Having all that stuff put into me, put into my head was so horrible. Just hearing about everything that happened with those two babies, and Shanann, it was horrible. And so I asked him to follow through with a letter.
Did he show any kind of emotion, even on his face, like in his grief muscle on his chin, or the eyebrows going up here and the mouth going down here? Did he show any kind of grief when he talked about it?
Nothing at all. In fact, his demeanor in the beginning was more on the light, upbeat side. But when he would get to certain points, and I think I'm sure you've heard it, his eyes would just go black. And it would be like, I could tell it was like he was going into that moment and living in that moment that he would get like that. And it was scary. It was scary to see. I've never seen anything like that before. Never seen anything like that before.
Did he just dissociate? Is that what it seemed like? He wasn't even. Wow, man. I can't even imagine that.
Now, what is, I don't know how much you can tell, I'm sure, but how much new stuff is in the new book that wasn't in the first that he had done? Is there anything?
There's some. There's not a terrific amount that's different, but at the end of the book, I do answer some questions that have been asked a lot. that I wanted people to understand that this is how I, with everything that I've been through, and I've researched that this is how I found it to be. But now what happened is that went to print to the point that it was too late to change it. And I found out a couple of things that are new. And the source that I found out from was absolutely positively evidence. It wasn't just hearsay, it was evidence that I have found out. And it makes for a little different opinion, but that will be different for everyone when everyone finds it out. And I wish I had known it when I wrote the book, but
when are you going to release that information?
As soon as I am told, I had to go to law enforcement with it. Mm-hmm. And as soon as I'm told that it's okay, or until you see that someone is arrested, then then everybody can talk about it. But for right now, I don't know how long it'll be. I can tell you, though, there's a little bit of a clue in the book because I was working on that.
Yeah.
So I put a clue in the book. And at that point, it was a clue that then I was going to further research it. But like I said, I had evidence come to me, and it's pure fact evidence. It's not a hearsay or anything.
I still got to I want to order a book. I still have to get a book. So did Chris come across like he was the victim? You know how he kind of always puts himself like, poor me. Did he come across like that to you at all, or no?
Only in the sense that he was always blaming something else, someone or something else. And that didn't click with me at first, but just like, I was demon possessed, I think, at the time. Nikki was dark, and a lot of things happened that caused me to feel like I had something else in me, or, Shanann was this, or Shanann was that, or,
That's
he was always blaming someone else, kind of.
Yeah, I would just say that's playing the victim kind of in a way, yeah.
That's very typical with deception. They tend to, first of all, start blaming others, and they'll use religion because religion is a hard thing to argue. Something spiritual.
Right.
So,
Joe, let's try to, Joe, let's set this up where we take turns so we're not cutting each other off. So, okay, you ask the next question, and then I'll ask the next question, just so we know. Perfect. So go ahead.
Perfect. You had mentioned someone else. Do you believe there was someone else involved in all of this?
Good question.
Well, see, this is the thing. This is what I didn't believe before. But now I know there was some involvement. The involvement that I think took place was more of, and this is the clue that's in the book. I'm giving away the clue. But it's more of that someone, I put in the book, I said, there's no way that the Christopher that I know could have planned and carried out this entire thing without any help. So that's where the accomplice comes in. There's someone that did help in some way.
Now that's in the new book, not in this one, right?
Correct, in the new book.
Mm-hmm. Okay.
So you did say in an interview that you thought the case is still open. Okay, so you just don't know who the accomplice, because that was what my next question actually. You know that Chris has accomplices, and you know who they are, and you went to authorities, or you don't know who they are. You're saying you don't know, but you know. Oh, okay. Mm-hmm. Okay. You just can't say anything right now.
Right.
Is that what you said? Okay.
Exactly.
I see. Let me take that. Let's talk about Kim real quick. Did you hear, okay, so you were talking to the Watts at one point. Was she in the picture at all? Did they ever mention her? What did they say about her?
Yeah, Cindy asked her to call me real early on. And so she called me one day. I was at work, and she called me, and right away she's this boisterous type personality that she is. And she wanted to know what I was doing. And she let me know from the get-go that she did not think that Christopher had done anything to the girls, that it was only to Shanann. And of course, he had all these reasons why he should have done it to Shanann. which to me, even if he did not kill the girls, he had no right to kill Shanann, but he did. He killed all of them. So yes, that's the only time I've talked to her. She texted me a couple of times, and I didn't answer her. I didn't want anything to do with her from the get-go.
Right.
Wow.
I warned Cindy. I told Cindy, you need to be careful of this one, but obviously she didn't take my warning. So,
man, go ahead, Jill.
It seems to me like he has these dominant women in his life that whatever they say or do, he tends to follow and go along with that. Yes. And with you, where you are, you come across as a very sweet, kind, gentle, soft-spoken person, if he had mistaken that, or he could possibly, tell you something else to try to manipulate you.
I think you're right on with that. I think that I came across to him more as a motherly figure. I have a son his age, and I think that he picked up on that, and he made sure that he let me know that he is very intelligent, that he has a very high IQ. He told me the number was something like 139, which is almost genius.
Oh, he made sure you knew that.
Yes,
wow,
from the get-go. Yeah, that was
interesting.
very early on that he told me that. And so I do think that he felt like he could manipulate me a little bit with that. Maybe more manipulate me into saying what he wanted me to say.
Right.
Wow. All right, Joe, I have a 3-part question. So will you look at chat for a little bit while I ask a few of these questions? Okay. So who was the first to bring up NK? And do you remember the first time he mentions NK and what he said?
I do. He is the first one who brought her up. He told me that he wanted me to read a certain scripture. I couldn't have anything with me in the prison there. So I had to read a certain scripture, which that scripture is in the book. And it talks about a woman who is basically a prostitute. She's married, and she goes out to the street corner and picks up this young man. And he said, if you read that, then you see and you'll know who NK is. But what's weird is in the very next breath, he's telling me that he still loved her. And he was wondering if she was writing him like in a code or something, and he hoped that she wasn't, because he was missing it if she was.
Wow.
So yeah.
Did he have like a different demeanor when he talked about NK compared to when he talked about Shanann? Can you sense like a difference in his demeanor at all, or no?
Maybe just a little more enduring.
Okay.
But not in a huge way. No.
Mm-mm. Hold on, Joe. I'm almost done. It's like a.
Oh, no,
Did Chris ever ask you to get in contact with NK or relay any messages or check on anything about her or anything?
I don't remember if he asked me or if I told him I would try to, and I did. I hired someone to try to find her, and the best that I could tell at that time, she was actually in Wisconsin, which I think then gave him hope that she was going to try to come and see him or contact him. But I don't think anything ever came of it, and if it did, I did not know about it.
So did you ever flat out ask Chris if NK was involved? And did he get nervous? If when you asked him, did he get all nervous and how did?
He told me straight out that there are some things that he will take to his grave. And that's one of the things that he told me he would take to his grave.
When it was around NK. Okay.
Mm-hmm.
So, and this is my last one about NK. Do you, what are your opinions about NK? Do you think she could have helped Chris in the murders? But I think I kind of know your opinion on this but go ahead.
Yeah.
If you want
to. Again, I didn't think that she did have anything to do with it. But now that I found out this evidence that I have, and that's not who the evidence is on, by the way, it's not NK. But I do wonder now if she did have a subtle to do with it, because I have been told that there is meaning to the 111-minute conversation. And that came actually from him to someone that's in contact with him now.
Wow. I mean, can you elaborate on that or no? The 111, can you elaborate like what, any details on that conversation?
Well, you remember that being said, that's in Discovery, it's in the book.
Oh, yeah. Yep.
The 111-minute conversation that they had, and he had told me they had phone sex. There was something about the way he said it. I didn't believe him because he didn't talk about stuff like that a whole lot in person. It would be mainly in letters if something sexual had to come up, you know. So I didn't really believe him. But in questioning him more about it, there's one thing that he said to me that really stood out in my mind. And that is, he was telling her he had to wash Cece's sheets because of the odor that they had on them. And now I can't remember if that was in Discovery or not. I can't, there's some things I don't know if it's in Discovery or if it's the things he told me. But why
it was in Discovery, but the fact that he brought it up to you again, that's...
Yeah, there were things that he brought up that I had questioned. Why did he say that? Why would he say that? And then, Blair, that is talking with Armchair. I have to tell you, first off, she's real. That's not her real name, but she's a real person. And she really is talking to Christopher by email. And she proved it to me by showing me the actual prison stamp and everything that's on the emails, which Kim has never shown anything like that. But Blair is real. I do not know why they're trying to debunk her and say that she's not real, that she doesn't really talk to Christopher. I promise you with everything in me, she is talking to him, and she's a real person.
I believe you. I feel that way too, actually. Jill, take a few questions. Go ahead.
Is that the Lana girl?
No, that's somebody totally different, that girl.
Okay.
Yeah.
Jill, I got to fill you in on Lana if you don't know about her. Wow. I don't even waste my breath.
That's horrible.
She's the most... I can't even believe. I don't even want to talk about her right now. But yeah, she's horrible, Jill. Yeah. It's really not good. So you haven't seen any of the videos that she did?
No.
We'll talk later. Yeah, it's bad.
No.
Yeah, it's very bad. Yeah.
I've got a couple of questions. Why did you decide to write this one?
This book?
Mm-hmm.
Well, first off, I want to say that with what happened with the first book was nothing was done in malice or intentional. It was wrong, but it wasn't intentional. And I feel really bad about it. And through talking with the attorneys, they thought it was the best thing to take it down, to make it right, and then write the new book and put the letters in it, because my attorney said that's what people really want to see, are those letters. Mm-hmm. And so that's what's behind the whole thing. So.
Now, they were letters. Did you, from what I understand, I don't know, but are the letters in the book? I heard that the letters are not in the book, just a few of them in the back.
There's about probably 10 or a dozen in the back. Yeah, there's a lot of them, and some of the letters are like 10 and 12 pages long. There's a lot in the book.
Wow.
Mm-hmm.
I know. I'm anxious to read those. Yeah.
Are you familiar with anyone that's ever had Asperger's syndrome?
Yes, actually.
Do you feel where, I guess he is so smart, yet you look at some things and think, how could someone so smart do something like that? And also the way he socializes and stuff, do you think that it's possible that he could have Asperger's?
I think so. I wrote that in the book, actually, I'm not a psychologist or anyone that can say professionally. But from the very beginning, after talking with him, I had asked his mother if he had ever been tested for Asperger's, because I felt like I saw something in that I see in the other person that I know. Actually, my godchild is. And she said, no, he had never been tested. And I talked to him about it because I told him straight up, I think you seem like you could have Asperger's. And he said he didn't know. He wishes that he knew that he had never been tested for anything like that. But yes, you're right. His intelligence, his antisocial behavior, can only talk one-on-one, no common sense. I didn't find that he has common sense, even though he's intelligent.
Right. I was just curious about that. And one more thing, do you think there was any kind of a cover-up that happened? Just to get him to, since he admitted to it, let's go ahead and seal the deal. And do you think there's any cover-up involved?
By who?
By, I don't know, I guess anyone involved, whether it be law enforcement, or I want to throw NK in there too, or his family, or do you think anyone has covered anything up? Like kind of like the Casey Anthony case where her mom washed everything in the trunk, that sort of thing.
Yeah. Let me just say, the only ones that I feel very sure did not cover up anything is I do not believe the law enforcement covered up anything.
Right.
Anyone else is out there for sure. But I don't feel like the law enforcement people did at all.
But you think it's possible that someone else may have?
Do they what?
Do you think it's possible someone else may have, whether it be family, friends, girlfriend, whatever?
I think there's a possibility, yes. Mm-hmm.
So did he ever talk about what happened to Shanann's ring? Somebody was asking me about that in a live, and it got me thinking. I'm like, yeah, whatever did happen to that? Shanann's ring, what?
Well, he told me, and I don't know if it's true or not, but he told me that that Sandy has it.
Oh, okay. That makes sense.
I don't know if that's true. Mm-hmm.
And so this is somebody sent this question in. Was there something in particular about Cindy Watts that made you say that you never came across such evil people? Is there anything she did in particular? Or?
I don't even know how to answer that question. I know that what they are going through and what they have gone through is got to be the most horrible thing that a family could ever experience. More so, equally as bad as Shanann's parents, just in a completely different way. Right. But, and so I know that part of that would have to mess with you, your head and your emotions and your psyche completely, to try to wrap your head around that your son could do that. Mm-hmm. But I don't even know how to explain them. They are just.
Are they that much in denial?
Yeah, denial.
Yes.
Yeah, really. They really. Do you truly believe that did they really not believe he did it? I mean, you really believe that they don't believe it, right? Like
no. Cindy did not believe it. I think Jamie believes it. I think that she is, probably out of all of them, she has a little more grip on the reality of it all. Jamie is, I think she knows it, but as far as the mom and dad, now Ronnie, he knows it, but he is an easygoing guy who's going to kind of just be there for Christopher, I think, and just try to help Christopher. But Cindy is in total denial to the point that she has just, bashed Shanann so much. When I first met her, she told me so many awful things about Shanann that I was like, what in the world? How could this girl have been that bad? When you first meet someone and you're being told all this stuff, you have a tendency to kind of believe them. And it took a while for me to realize this stuff is not true. This is her feelings of her own daughter-in-law. And
wow. Did Chris ever talk about his mom? And also, when he was telling you about like the feud between Shanann and his mom, did he seem to take a certain side, or whose side was he on, like telling the story?
He took Shanann's side.
Oh, he did? Okay.
He did. Yeah, he did. He told me that his mother could not stand Shanann, that there was always trouble, that it was caused by his family. He brought up the Nutgate, as they call it, which is kind of funny because being in prison, he didn't know a lot of these things were out there. And he was surprised to hear that I knew about that whole ordeal. But he says that the ice cream did have nuts in it, and that it was something that Cece was allergic to. So his mother had told me that she wasn't really allergic to nuts, that was just one of the things that Shanann would say. So I asked Christopher, I said, is she really allergic to nuts? Or, did she feel like maybe she was? Or, what happened when she would eat nuts or something with nuts in it? And he said, honestly, Cece would break out bad, and she would have problems breathing if she had any kind of nuts. So,
wow.
Yeah. And it's those kind of things that, he didn't appreciate with his mother. And even after talking to me, he said he would try to explain to his mother, because she kept always asking him, what did you do? What did you do? How did you do it? What did you do? And he said he finally told her, Mom, just read the book. He got to the point he wanted her to read the book instead of him talking to her, because she didn't want to accept that he did what he did, and was just bent on blaming Shanann. She would always say his first confession to his dad at the police station was his true confession, and that came from Kim.
And that confession, I've watched it so many times through the last 2.5 years, and it's odd going back, because you see new things sometimes, and certain things come to light, and you're like, oh, wait a minute, I didn't see that. And that happened with that exact moment when he was in there with his dad, and he was telling his dad what he had done, and even his dad questioned him because it wasn't making sense. And I went, Ronnie knew. He suspected it in the beginning, and Ronnie knew.
And he was trying to keep the facts straight, how he kept going over it with Chris. Like, okay, so she did this, she got that, yeah.
When he was confused, he said, well, it was over why he had done it. He said, well, was it because she freaked out over the new woman, or over the divorce? Because he told him two different stories, and even Ronnie was confused and asking him, now, why did you do it? Which one was it that you told me why you did it?
Right.
Which story was it? And I thought, wow, I didn't see that in 2.5 years, and it stood out to me so much that Ronnie knew.
Yeah, and I think he probably told his dad on the way to the police station. It was just my guess, because because I mean, maybe he didn't want his dad to be shocked with it, because at that time I don't think Christopher had any idea about. Well, I mean, by the time his dad came in and sat down, Tammy Lee had already given him the little tidbit that caused him to blame Shanann to begin with, but his dad, I don't think, had heard that at that time, and that's my opinion. I just didn't see. Yeah.
I have a question. This is kind of a new thing. It says AD has been getting emails from Chris. There was a clue: follow the money to Charlotte's house. Do you know what that means? I've been getting a lot of emails about that. What does that mean? Is that Charlotte? I'll let you explain. What does that mean?
Yeah. I don't know if it's something that I should say. I do know what it's about. And that's because Cindy told me, and I had to ask Christopher about it. I can tell you that he said it was a big thing in his marriage that really bothered him tremendously. And that's
so
the house.
Charlotte. Oh, go ahead. The house. Sorry, I don't want to.
The house that Shanann owned first.
Okay.
Before he met her. Mm-hmm.
Okay, so it is the house in Charlotte, not the friend Charlotte. Okay, we were wondering. Some people were getting confused with it being about NK's friend Charlotte, and then I just received an email, and they're like, "No, I think it's Charlotte, North Carolina, right? Is that what that's?" Okay.
Right. And again, this is something that I first thought that Shanann was being blamed for, that didn't have any bearing at all to the truth. But then he told me, when I asked him about it, he told me, and there's definitely something there that he says he was very bothered by, that she did, and that was something that he found out about, I think, after they got married.
Oh, and, really?
Wow. He was not happy about it.
No, it's definitely there. I saw the documents and stuff, but so he didn't know about it before they got married. Wow. Okay.
Well, Chris didn't know about what before they got married.
The thing about this, I don't know.
Yeah, we'll talk about it later. There's, Jill. Yeah, there's just an issue with the house in Charlotte, and I don't really feel like getting into that part right now. Actually,
yeah, I'm not sure that we should, but because I don't want anything to seem like that we are bashing Shanann at all. You know,
no.
She's gone, and that poor girl had everything taken from her. So,
and I think she's been dragged through the mud enough. I mean,
yes.
There's a question that I wanted to ask because Delana please ask Cheryln if the strange dark-haired girl seen by the neighbor's camera going into the Watts house truly plays into all of this. I'm not sure what dark-haired girl was seen going into the Watts house by a neighbor's camera.
I do. I know what you're talking about, and I know that she keeps being called the September woman or the September lady, and I don't know where that got confused with the clue in the book and all of that stuff. I don't know, and I don't necessarily think that has anything to do with an accomplice, but I'll tell you what I think about her. I think it was either NK or NK's very good friend that went in, because I asked Christopher if he gave her the code to his house. She did have the code to his house. I think it was, because when I asked him, he said he thinks it was probably one of them that went in to retrieve a couple of things that NK had left there. Now, let me tell you what she left there. She left her, remember the bag that he had sitting at the bottom of the stairs? When the police came in and they asked him something about that bag, and he said, oh, it was some clothes that were being given away because he had lost so much weight. Do you remember that?
Oh yeah, I remember that. I did some videos on that. He got so nervous when they started talking about it. Yep.
Yeah, because those clothes were NK's clothes. She had changed clothes and left them there.
But when though? So is that him admitting that she was there that morning? When did he change? When is she?
I think on July the 4th or July the 14th. She was at his house those 2 days. And the one day they left and went out someplace to a museum. I don't know. I'd have to look at my notes now again to see if that was the day they went to the museum or to or someplace. But anyway, she changed clothes at his house. And she supposedly forgot her clothes. Well, those were her clothes that were in that bag.
That's huge, dude. We've been trying to figure that out. I remember analyzing that video and trying to figure out like what he could be hiding. I thought maybe it was he changed his jeans. Oh my gosh. Wow, that's big. Thanks.
Yeah, and then I think there was a crystal.
Wait, what about crystal? Did you say?
I think there was a crystal also in that bag.
Oh, okay. So, but do you think it's possible that he's lying and it was from the morning? Or no? Do you think, I
don't think so because, he threw his stuff into a dumpster.
Yeah, that's true.
So I don't really think he lied about that because it did scare him because in the beginning, he felt like he could pass off that he wasn't having an affair with anyone. And when the cops asked him, they would have known that wasn't Shanann's clothes. I mean,
so he was so nervous because he was still trying to hide the affair. That makes sense.
Well, and he said Nicole was there too, and Nicole would have known that was not Shanann's clothes.
Oh, Nicole Atkinson. Yep. That's true.
Yeah. Well, see, that reinforces my belief that I think she was there more than just those 2 times at the house. I think she was there more often because that's an awful lot of clothes for that short amount of time. And so that kind of,
Yeah, I think so too. Yeah, and I just wonder, you got to ask yourself, did she leave them there purposely hoping that Shanann would find them?
Bingo.
Oh, yeah.
Bingo. Yeah. Because when you said she forgot them, I went, forgot them? Yeah,
Right.
I don't know about that.
Yeah, because I think it was a game to some extent for her.
Yeah.
You know, so.
I agree.
It's kind of like marking your territory also. And she wanted to know maybe just how separated they were by leaving.
Exactly. Exactly. Yeah.
Wow. That's crazy. That's a huge right there. I'm still like, wow, I've been trying to figure that out. I remember going through that, trying to fit. We had one of my old mods. We had so many theories about what that could be. Whose clothes were that? I had no idea.
And that's why they were gone. Remember in the next video from the cop cam, they were gone after that. Also.
Yeah, then they were, because he probably took them, but he just got so nervous. So it was like, what? Yeah. Why is he so nervous about that bag of clothes?
Kind of like you saw when he saw on Nate's TV, what he saw there. But the clothes thing, you heard it first on Zavgirl.
Yay! Oh, that's awesome. Okay, let's see if we have any more questions. Jill, do you want to ask a question while I'm looking for down my list for another question?
There was so many of them that I had, and I think we touched on. Do you think he has? That's one of them. Do you think he really has possible contact with NK, and he just won't admit it?
I don't know. I've wondered. There was a postcard that was sent to him at one point that his mother mailed it to me because she was wondering if I thought it would be NK, because it was talking about banana bread, and they thought maybe that was a code from her. But I don't know. I honestly don't know. My opinion is she's gone through an awful lot to hide away from everything and everyone.
Right.
So I kind of think maybe not, because I think after everything that happened, she probably thought he's not a catch. Not to go through this stuff over, that's my opinion. But I just, she was single and wild, and why would she want to be messed up with something like this? I don't think she cared that much, but I could be wrong.
Right.
So
she did while she was trying to take him from his wife, but once the game was over, it was over.
Exactly.
No, yeah. I'm going back to that possession. You know how he claimed that he was possessed, and then that night in the cell, remember, he had that experience where they supposedly left his body. But you said that you saw that darkness in his eyes, and that would be after that, right? So did you ever question him about that in his eyes when you saw it?
I didn't tell him to his face that his eyes went black. I said, you had a really scary look on your face. Why is that? And he said, well, it's just hard going back to those moments and thinking about it. But we did have extensive discussions about the demon possession and, the darkness that he felt like that NK was living in, and how he feels like it entered him and that type of thing. And then he had that dream about his grandparents, or not a dream, it was a vision, he said, about his grandparents. So did I just answer your question?
Yeah, no, you definitely answered it. So the whole possession thing, or the whole darkness around NK. I remember you were talking about that dioptase and stuff. I forget if you said, was that something that he told you about the drink, or was that something from your research that you came to the conclusion?
Yeah, I came to that conclusion through research, but he didn't know what was in the drink. He said he didn't know what she was using to put in the drink. He thought he was drinking some kind of a healthy drink of some kind, and it might have been, I don't know. But as I was doing research, and then I had a couple of people that sent me some information, it seemed like that was a possibility of what it could be that he had in his drink.
Wow. See, there's a lot of new people, so explain that. So she would make a drink for him. Was it like almost every time they got together she would make a drink for him, or?
I think a few times a week.
Okay.
And she referred to it, I think, in case the police found out and wanted to question her about it, because she said something to the police about how she would be sitting there talking to him about something, and he would doze off and wake up like an hour later and pick up his sentence from where he left off. when I asked him about that, it's when he told me about the drink, and he said that's what caused him to do that. Now, that's a chapter that I left out of the book. I purposely did not put that in either book, but sometime, if you'd like to discuss it at more length, I can read it on your show sometime, and we can discuss it.
Definitely. It's very interesting. Yeah, I'd love to do that.
I have a couple of questions. Now, did he talk to you about the oxy? Giving her oxy. Okay. Now,
that's where we heard it from first.
Once or twice did he give it to her?
Well, he first told me he gave it to her twice, once at her parents' house and once the night that he killed her. Then later, he told me, oh, no, I was mistaken. I only gave it to her at her parents' house. Go figure. I don't know. That's what he told me.
I believe, at least, because it wasn't in the toxicology report, so he couldn't have gave it to her that night, right?
I wouldn't think so, unless there is part of the autopsy that we have not seen, and I do think there is.
Okay.
What would they be hiding? Give you details of how he put it in there or how he gave it to her?
He crushed it up and put it in a Thrive shake.
So he says that he crushed it like you would a Tylenol and powderized it or pulverized it. And he's lying because 8 years. It had been, I looked it up and I can't remember exactly. It was like 6 or 8 years. I think it was 8 years. They made them to where you couldn't crush them. I mean, you'd have to take a sledgehammer, and they're unsoluble and will not dissolve in water either because of people.
Really?
Yes.
They released like time. Yeah. To try to cut back.
So,
but he could have.
I'm curious how he could have given it to her, not knowing. Yeah, that seems odd to me. And go ahead.
She thought she was taking something for a headache. He told me.
Oh, okay.
So I don't know. When he said I didn't know that oxy didn't come in or wasn't crushable, but I do know that he said, or he told me that he gave her 80 milligrams. Ever how he gave it to her, that he did give her 80 milligrams, which is huge.
Yeah, it's a lot for somebody who doesn't have a tolerance, definitely.
Yes.
Yeah, it is. Now
it goes along with her getting sick too. Those texts of her getting sick, it does go along with some of her symptoms, I think, that night.
Yeah, someone's not because it makes a lot of people sick to their stomach.
Yeah, if you don't have a tolerance, 80 milligrams is a lot. If you don't have a tolerance, it definitely is.
Now, did he talk about the mascara running down her face? That's another thing that's always bothered.
Yes, he did.
Now, did he say it literally ran down her face, like towards her chin?
Yes.
How is that if she was down?
How is it what?
How would that be if she was laying down?
Well, they were arguing at first, so she could have been sitting up at first.
Yeah, I don't know. He just said that he felt really bad later thinking about that. And here he said right before she died, he told her he didn't love her and that type of thing, and that she was crying. And he said, if you read it in the book, the letter, I think he even mentions it in the letter of how it was running down her face, and she was literally begging for their family and crying. And
he brings it up in like every interview, so that definitely, he has that picture of her mascara, definitely.
Yeah.
Because he brings it up in almost every interview when they ask, he talks about that mascara, so it's something that's in his head. That happened, definitely.
They've had some kind, I think, of conversation or confrontation. Where she was sitting up and talking to him.
Probably.
Did he ever talk? Oh, go ahead. Sorry.
No, I just said thank you.
Okay. Did he ever talk about his coworkers at all? Did that ever come up or not?
Not much. Not to any degree. Mm-hmm.
And how many letters did he write that weren't in the book? Like, you didn't include them all, or did you include them all?
There's two that I left out because it had some things in it that he had specifically asked me not to put in the book. So there's two that I have that's not in there.
And then after he had read it, did he read the book, and then all the rumors about him not being happy with it? Did you ever hear him say that, or?
Nope.
No.
We never had, Christopher and I never had any sort of ill words between us, ever. And he knows, he didn't get to read the book because I could not find a way to give it to him. They wouldn't allow me at the prison to bring it to him. I should have started early on and mailed him pages. But then you take the chance of it getting stolen, too. So, no, he didn't have a chance. But he knew what was going in. I mean, I told him kind of how things were going. I read him some parts, you know. Nothing was a surprise to him. Let me say that.
Okay.
Are you going to read those letters ever, the ones that he asked you not to? You said you didn't put them in the book, or you did?
I did not.
You did not. Are you ever going to release them, or are you always just going to keep them close to your chest?
Yeah, I probably will never release them. It doesn't really have anything much to do with the case.
Oh.
It was more something personal that he just didn't want to talk about, you know. One of them had to do with one of his family members, and it was just, you know, a hurtful thing. Yeah,
right.
It was not nothing that I suppose everybody would be interested in it, no matter what it says, but it was nothing that made any difference in the book or anything. So
correct.
I left it out.
Did you ever see like real remorse out of him? Do you think, like, did he cry when I mean, did it seem sincere to you?
He did not cry ever. He never showed any emotion. He never showed any emotion.
Man.
No,
wow,
never.
That's crazy.
Remorse only in the sense that I think that it was awful for him that he got caught and he had to spend the rest of his life in prison. If I had to pinpoint it, that's what I would say his kind of remorse is. But, you know, I don't know his heart. He may be very sorry. I don't know for sure.
I don't think so. Do you believe that your story that he told you is the closest to the truth of what really happened? Do you?
I do. I honestly do. Mm-hmm. Okay. I really think it is.
It seems like to me when he talks about how he had tried to smother them in their sleep, and when I guess they woke up, from that point on, he seems to mention Bella a lot, and Cece was always the active one. That concerns me. Do you think maybe Cece was either hurt worse than Bella, or maybe had possibly even passed on?
I believe that when he first smothered them and thought that they were both dead. Now, if you remember in that letter, he says that's the reason why the autopsy says they were smothered, which didn't make a lot of sense at the time. And then when they woke back up, and it shocked him so much they were awake, because he said he just couldn't believe, he just was sure that he had killed them. Yeah. In fact, his sister even asked me once, do you think he could have been like hallucinating that they had gotten back up or something? But I do believe they woke back up, and thank you. And he said that Cece was kind of dazed and kind of lethargic, even though she was whimpering and crying. He thought she was more doing it because Bella was doing it. I believe, and this is my own opinion, I believe that she had brain injury from maybe oxygen being kept too long from her, and that she was just dazed and lethargic because she just wasn't really all there anymore.
I agree.
She did not fight him at all when he smothered her or killed her the second time. But I do believe that Bella went through an awful lot, to be fair.
I believe you're 100% right.
Yeah, me too. Yeah. She was the fighter, man. Wow.
So how did your relationship go sour with the Watts family? How did that play out? You know, what caused that?
Well, because it got to the point that Cindy wanted me to put in the book that he, okay, let me back up. When I first met Christopher and I first started talking with Cindy, I was really on the fence about what had happened. Did he really kill all of his family, or could there have been a possibility that Shanann did this? Because I was hearing from his mother so much. Once Christopher made it very clear that no, he did not, or Shanann did not kill the girls, he did it, all of it by himself, then that changed between me and his mother, because I told her, I said, Cindy, I understand that you don't want to accept this, but you need to accept it for his sake, because he can't find the peace because you're upset all the time. And he did this. He did it. All 3 of them, 4 of them. He killed all of them. Well, she got angry with me over that. And because she couldn't control that narrative of Shanann killed the girls and Christopher only killed her because of it, she was done with me. And there, people have been cruel to me, and they've said, you didn't even let them read the book. Well, my attorneys made that decision because of the things that Cindy was saying to me, the texts that she was sending me and everything, and how mean she was to me over it. The attorney said she cannot read the book at this point. It was the very end. It was going to print, and they didn't know what was going to come of that.
Right.
Because of her feeling that her son did not do this. So they told me, no one reads it, no one. And so that's how that happened. And they wouldn't speak to me after that. She had no use for me after that.
Wow.
Wow.
And if I had it to do over, I would do it the same. I
was going to ask, that was one of my questions. If you had to do it over, would you do it? Would you go through everything? Would you go visit Chris again?
I don't know for sure. I think I might go and visit him. I don't know that I would have went through everything that I've gone through the second time. There's been times I wish I had never touched any of it, but there's so much evil wrapped around it, and it's hard to get your mind around it all. And then I've had, 2 years of nightmares, of dreams. I still dream about them so much, and I especially the girls. I dream. I didn't know them, but I dream about them so much. It's very hard. What's in my head is very hard to deal with sometimes because of the things that he said and the way that he said it, and his mannerisms and going dark. I mean, it's true. It's just, it's there.
Just
so
nonchalant, like he was telling you a story about mowing the grass or something. There is no
very nonchalant. And even my husband went to see him my last time that I saw Christopher. My husband was with me, and Christopher knew he was coming and stuff, and they had never met before. And we were sitting there, and my husband says that later he said, I just can't get over how he just talks about it like, I'm going to get a cup of coffee. He said, it's just no big deal. He would say, after what I did to Shanann and things like that. My husband just couldn't get over that. That's how nonchalantly he really does talk about it.
Wow.
So that's just part of the non-emotion that he has, I think.
Sociopath, maybe? Isn't it a sociopath that doesn't have any feelings? Can't feel
possibly.
Narcissistic sociopath. Yeah.
Wow. What about, I have a question for you here. Somebody wrote in this question. Hold on a second. It's kind of long. Where did it go? It's about, wait, where did it go? Hold on. Give me 1 minute.
Mm-hmm.
It's about the threesome. I know it's about here it is. It says, you brought up the alleged threesome with NK and Jim. Do you know if this really happened? Did he ever mention anything that would make you think it did happen?
I think it did happen, but I don't think Jim is the person.
Oh.
Yeah.
You think Trent, possibly? Trent, or no?
I don't think so. I just believe it was another one of her friends.
Oh, a girl. Okay.
Uh-huh.
Okay. Wait, what did he say that made you think that? Oh, a guy. Okay. What was it?
He told me that because he kept referring to all the weird and dark things that happened at her apartment, some of the things that they did and how awful they were. And he would say, and I would say, well, like, what kind of things are you talking? And then he would tell me, well, there were some threesomes. And I thought at first he meant another woman, but it wasn't. It was another man.
Oh my gosh! Wow.
Wow. Mm-hmm. See, that's news to me too, that he actually said that. Wow. Huh.
But I don't think it was Jim.
So he never met Jim, right? Did
No,
he say he
didn't.
ever? Okay, I thought I heard him say it in some interviews that he never met him, but I didn't know if that was true or not. Okay.
No, he said he didn't.
Did you ever mention the Ring doorbell thing? Because I want to know how he got past Shanann knowing he was that Nicole or NK had come over to the house. How was he getting by with that with the alarm system?
I don't know. That is something that I've always wished that I had asked him. Other than maybe they could turn it off, I would think. Don't you think there's probably a code that they had to turn it off if they wanted it off?
I'm sure.
Yeah, probably.
Thought Shanann would have gotten an alert that it was turned off, and she would have been like, "What is going on?"
Are you talking about when they were in North Carolina, Jill? Is that what you mean?
Yeah, like when Shanann was in North Carolina, when NK came to the house, because she said she came through the front door once, and I'm wondering how that Ring didn't pick it up.
I think it has something to do with how he had the door propped open or something. Remember that story, how he had the door propped open because he had furniture where it didn't shut, the door didn't shut all the way? But she remembered that little detail, but wonder if that had something to do with everything.
I bet it did.
Yeah, that's what I'm saying.
But the Ring picked up for like so many feet outside the front door, and
I know, but maybe
she came in there once, and I think she came in many more times than that. But
obviously he did something to make it so. I don't.
I just didn't know if he brought it up to her and mentioned it. Maybe.
Oh yeah, did he?
I think he. Well, no, I forgot to ask him about that. But, I do know that she didn't always come in the front door. The couple of times that she was at the house, she was in the Lexus with him, and she came to the garage door. But now they were in the living room. He told me that they were in the living room. So I don't know, because I know ours we can turn off, but But that's not the same company that they have. So I'm not sure.
So did he admit to you that NK was in the house more than twice? Then did he ever admit that to you?
She was in 2 or 3 times. He said it in his letters. He talked about it. Yeah. She came over the one day they had a fight. That was July 4th. They'd had a fight at her apartment because Shanann was trying to get a hold of him and he wasn't answering her calls. I really think that was a time that it was almost a turning point for him. I think that he almost walked away from NK at that point, because he was kind of irritated how she treated him, how NK treated him that morning. And then he went home, and he said she showed up at his house unannounced, and with the excuse that she wanted to go over like a diet plan with him, an eating type plan with him. They ended up laying around the house all day together.
I remember reading that part. Yeah.
And yeah, he talks about it in his letters about that.
It's amazing that he had the nerve to bring her in the house.
Oh,
yeah.
With the neighbors and
yeah. Well, remember how they said, like, the neighbor said the car was parked down the street some of the time? Like, I think somehow that had something to do with him sneaking her in, right? Because why did he park right on the street?
I don't know why he did that, but if he was bringing her over, he probably pulled the Lexus into the garage, shut the door, and then they went into the neighbors wouldn't have seen him,
So why that's weird that he was parking down the street then. Like far down the street they made it seem like.
He could have gone out the glass sliding doors though and not set an alarm off and took her car, and she wouldn't have known he was coming and going out of the garage with her car when he went with her with NK.
Right.
So.
Yeah, or the back. Mm-hmm. Oh, thanks, Melissa. Let me see if we have any other. Oh, Jill, I still have some of your questions I put in banners. Let me see if you asked them, actually. Hold on.
I may have.
Let's see. You probably already did.
But... what was the story about Shanann being introduced to NK back in 2017? What was that about?
That was a surprise. He just said that him and Shanann and the girls were at fireworks on July 4th. And I I think he kind of told me, not realizing what he was saying about putting the year together, because he said an NK showed up and he introduced her to Shanann. And I'm like, what? How did you say? And he said, I just told Shanann it was a coworker. And then he kind of laughed about that and said, well, that was kind of, I guess, a prophetic word.
Wait, that was 2017, you're saying? July 4th?
Yes. July
what?
4th, 2000. Mm-hmm.
So that's where people are getting it from you then. Oh, okay, it is real. I didn't know if it was just like a rumor going around. Oh,
no, it's
wow.
True. Mm-hmm. Yeah.
So I'm wondering how he met her if she didn't start working there until 2018.
I don't know. I had a Facebook friend that sent me a message with a theory that she had put together with that, and it made so much sense when she said it. She said that when the Ruzaks lived at Shanann and Christopher's house, that they took over the basement, so he didn't have a way to work out. So he joined a gym for a while. Well, it just so happened it was the same gym that NK went to, and maybe they met there.
And do you think she purposely got a job there following him? I mean, to be by him? Or no? Do you think that was just...
Got a membership, I think, there.
No, I mean, Anadarko. Yeah, the membership. But I mean, the Anadarko, because she worked... Do you think that had something to do with him? Why she got a job there then?
I think maybe he helped her get it,
Yeah. Wow.
Yeah.
So you're answering a lot of questions. We've been talking about some of this stuff in lives the last week. So, wow, I want to write this down. So July 4th, 2017, just so I get this. And also, good job. I heard you mention on, I forget who's live, that Luke Magnotta might want to do a book with you.
Oh, he wrote me himself.
Do it. Dude, that's
really?
an interesting, I would definitely do it.
Really? Oh, he's dark.
Yeah, he would be scary, though. Just be ready to... Wow,
yes.
he would bring you some nightmares, though. Oh, my gosh.
Yes. Yeah.
I wanted to ask you about also, he had said something about how the girls were acting towards him at the beach. Can you tell us about that?
Yeah, and I think that's in the letter also that he wrote. But he said that he felt like the darkness that was in him, the spirit that he was, had in him, was evident to the girls, especially Bella, because when he flew to South Carolina and they went on that little vacation together, the girls didn't seem to want anything to do with him, and he felt like that his spirit, what was going on in him, and their pure spirits did not. They were clashing, and the girls in their spirits could sense something with their dad and didn't want anything to do with them. So, like I said, that's in the letter he wrote. So
kind of like they say, how cats and dogs can pick up on things, sense things. I wonder if it was that or the fact that they hadn't been around their dad in a month and it was still kind of odd. You know what I mean?
Yeah.
Probably a mixture of both, probably, I would say.
Maybe a mixture, yeah. Although I do think that kids have kind of a little bit of a sixth sense about them sometimes.
Yeah, because if he was planning on murdering them or even thinking about it, they had to have sensed something, because he had to have been putting off some kind of energy.
Well, the girls had to pick up on those two not getting along and going outside and talking. And I'm
that
sure
too.
their voices may have raised it sometime and crying. That
exactly. Yeah. Especially Bella. She was getting old enough that I'm sure she was able to sense, that they were fighting or whatever. I'm just hoping she wasn't old enough to understand death or, I hope she wasn't old enough for any of that.
I know, yeah. Probably didn't know exactly what, but just knew it was bad, something bad.
Yes.
Oh, I can't even imagine what they went through, especially Bella, because I think Cece was just half sleeping, probably didn't have to really... Oh, man.
And Bella's so sensitive.
I know, Bella. She was so scared of everything, too. If you watch those videos, she's so... she's so
very
precious.
timid.
Yeah,
very
timid. Yeah.
Yeah.
I think I only have like one question left about drugs. Did he ever talk about doing any kind of drugs with NK, or what do you think that they did anything like that?
He just said whatever was in that drink. Other than that,
Okay,
he
that's
said no.
that.
But yeah, and he said she was on medication for bipolar disorder, and she took medication for that. He said. But,
actually, Amanda, I had a girl on, Amanda B. She was on. She actually saw that video. She said she caught the video of NK before NK released it about her being bipolar. Remember, there was a video that he was talking about his dad told her. Did he say his dad told him about, where NK is on a video talking about her bipolar? That's where it all came from, I think. And
really?
Yeah, he mentions a video. I think it's in the second confession. Amanda, are you here? Amanda, yeah, she said she caught it before she deleted it. I was like, wow, you're the only person I knew that actually caught
that.
I didn't see it either.
I didn't either.
I wish I would have. She said she's just basically standing in front of the camera, just basically talking about her having bipolar. So,
really? Oh,
yeah.
I didn't see it, but I did hear about it.
All right. I'm going to see if the chat has any questions. Jill, do you have any last questions? Or if Cheryln has anything if you want to share anything extra?
I don't think so. I think that covers it. And that's it.
Okay, let me.
I have written down.
Let me see if chat does, because I haven't been looking at chat too much. Let's see here.
I have been looking at it, and I guess someone said that didn't know why I was here. I hadn't read the book. Actually, I have read the book. It's just been about a year and a half since, or a year since I've read it, so I was a little rusty on it. But yeah,
there is a question.
Sorry.
Oh, are you asking a question, Jill? I'm confused.
Oh no, I was just responding to chat.
Oh, okay. Yeah, there's a chat. She says, Katie G wants to know, what do you think about the explosion theory? Have you heard that theory?
I have. And because I asked him, the gasoline can, why did he take that out there? Because I know Tammy Lee said, were you planning on killing yourself? Because that's usually what people do if they kill their family. And he said yes, but he told me he had never considered killing himself at all. I do think, though, that by what he said, he was planning on burning the bodies. I don't know if he planned on starting a big fire that would cause a huge explosion, or if he was just if he was just going to burn the bodies.
I think it probably burned the bodies. I don't think he had the guts to try to do an explosion.
No, because he would have died in it too.
Yeah.
And he wasn't willing to do that.
So
that's the narcissism in him.
Yeah, exactly. I agree. Angelina says, what did he say about Vivint? Anything about the fire stick? A lot of people think the fire stick was a code, or that meeting really wasn't about the fire stick. Did he mention that at all?
Just when I asked him about it, and he said it meant nothing at all. So I don't know. If it did, he did not tell me.
Okay.
You mean the employee that he took it to the
the meeting and the parking lot? Some people think it was like a drug deal. Some people think it was like a what do you call that? Like the explosion, what is that called? The thing that you push to make it explode? Do you guys know what I'm talking about? I forget what they call it, but I remember that theory. I can't
like
think
to ignite a bomb or something?
Yeah, like the why can't I think of the word right now? Oh my gosh. I heard that theory a way back. Let's see if there's anything else. Yeah, Dawn Marie says, is there anything you want to share with us that we haven't asked?
Oh, it's so hard to know. There's so much in my head that goes on with this whole case.
What about the
there's
oil
some things
leak?
I wish so much I could talk about. The what?
The oil leak. Did he mention that, and did that seem sincere, or did it seem like possibly he was lying and set that up?
No, it was true, but he had it fixed. He went out there the day before.
What?
The day before, or let's see, it happened on a Monday. He went out there Friday night or Saturday night. He fixed it. It was fixed.
What?
Yes. But now there's a lot of question as to why was he really out there, and who was with him when he went out there. I don't know the answer to that.
He told you that he went out there the day before. Did he tell you why he would have done that?
He said he fixed the leak.
But then why did he go in the, well, we know why he went in the morning, but did he, so, oh yeah, because he did tell you he premeditated. Yeah, never mind. He did tell you he thought about it. Okay, that makes sense. Now, it's a detonator is what I was thinking.
Oh, detonator.
But go ahead.
I have a question for you guys.
Okay.
Why did he ask me if anyone had said anything with the authorities, if they had said anything about the refrigerator in the basement?
I remember you saying that. People have theories about that. If he was stored one of the kids in the refrigerator. What was some of the other ones? Help me out, chat. I don't know, Jill.
I think possibly that was maybe a red herring that didn't quite work, and he's maybe trying to wonder or draw attention to it. I can't imagine why that would even play a role in anything when it was done, within a short amount of time, and then they were taken there in a short amount of time. So I wonder if that wasn't just part of like a more of a staging red herring type thing just to throw people off. I don't know.
Here's another theory, chloroform. Somebody said that maybe it has to be kept in a certain temperature. I've heard that. Dana 426 reminded me, chloroform. Yeah. I don't know. But would they find it in the... I think that's one of the things that they possibly might not have found, right?
Can chloroform be tracked though? Because you only breathe it in.
That's what I'm saying. They might not have been able to find it in the body in the toxicology. Yeah, maybe.
I think chloroform leaves the body really, really fast.
I think it does. I think studying it went for the Valo case. I think I do remember it. You have to test it really soon after, and since they're in the oil, I mean, I'm sure there's a chance that, maybe. Yeah. Why do you think, Cheryln? Do you think?
I don't know. I've always wondered if he had Cece in there. That maybe he killed her first and a little earlier, and put her in there more to store her in there, but. I also, have wondered, because he put Dieter in the basement for a while, he said.
Yeah.
So I don't know if he was, I'm doing another book right now with a murder that, oh no, this was something else. Never mind. But there was a guy last year that killed his family and the dog. I don't know if you saw that one. That one was in Florida. He killed his wife, his 3 kids, and the dog. And I thought
I remember hearing something about that, man.
Yeah.
Well, didn't the dogs also that they brought into the house go crazy in the basement and give them a sign?
Yeah. And that's why I told him. I said, I don't know. The dogs were kind of going off by that refrigerator in the basement. But I said, I don't know why. I think I said, why do you ask? Or something like that. He never told me anything more. But, we talked about so many things over the hours that we would talk and on the phone and then the letters that he would write that it's hard to think of everything. The discovery's 2,000 pages, so it's hard to think of everything to write.
God, it's so sad. And you want to, something inside of you, because you're human, wants to think, this is sad. And then he just reminds you of what a gross, disgusting person he is every time. And every time I start feeling sorry for his poor family, and they go and do something crazy too, and I'm like, would you guys leave it alone?
Yeah.
Yeah, I kind of remind myself all the time that they say that a killer isn't born, they transform to it. So something happened somewhere in his life, that made him what he is.
And it's hard I always like to consider myself a good judge of character. And I grew up with, I shouldn't probably tell this, but I grew up with a guy who lived down the street from me, and we were best of friends growing up, childhood friends. And he was on 20/20 and is now Missouri's biggest clergy pedophile case or person in the state now. And I look back and I'm like, wow, where did I miss something there growing up? I didn't get anything till we were teenagers. Nothing made me think that he would do something crazy like that. So
yeah,
it happens a lot. I feel like people surprise you. So I have a couple people are asking about the lazy dog. So Saturday he supposedly went to the lazy dog with NK, right? So if he went out to the site, do you think that had anything to do with them moving to the second? Remember how they went to the first lazy dog and they moved to the second one? They changed because of the menu, I guess. Do you think that has anything to do with that, or did he go to it before they went to Lazy Dog? Or
I don't know. But what's interesting is Blair showed me where he brought up Lazy Dog number 4. I don't know what that means exactly. Maybe that was how not that they went to 4 of them. I don't think that's what maybe that's how they referred to that one. And said that to look into that. That was like a kind of a code for him that he gave her, something about the lazy dog. So there's more that he's got to tell. And it's not what Kim says it is. So
wow. So you think he's going to end up telling Blair like more of the truth, or is it going to be a whole nother story, or he's just going to add to the story probably, right?
You know, I don't know, because that poor girl, she is the nicest person you could ever talk to. And she has gotten to the point that she's feeling threatened. She was followed a couple days ago. She was followed home from work. And she says that she just wants to just be away from all of it. She doesn't, want any more to do with it. And I don't blame her. I said, you got to protect yourself, you first off, and she has just tried to be a friend to him. And then he started asking her to give this information to AD and to give, this information. So because, AD he likes to figure things out. So it's almost like a brain teaser, I think, in a sense, that he's giving AD all this stuff that he wants him to come, to figure out and see what he can come up with and whether or not, he can get to the bottom of it. But as far as what he did and the fact that he did do it, I don't think that's going to change. But we might hear other things that we haven't heard before.
Do you think it's going to be lies, though? Or, sorry, Jill.
No, go ahead.
I just think, do you think it's going to be just lies to stay, in the spotlight and to stay relevant? Like, he wants to add, keep new things.
That's a very good point. I keep saying to people, let's not make him a celebrity because he shouldn't be a celebrity. And he needs to, but then I hear the way that he was writing to Ellen is interesting because he writes in Bible scriptures. And if you notice the letters that he wrote me, he would always end up with all these Bible scriptures and things. But he's talking to Ellen in Bible scriptures. And very interesting. I mean, he's very smart when it comes to the Bible. He can quote scripture like no one I've ever seen. He's very smart in that area. And so why he's sticking scriptures with the things he's trying to tell, I don't know. Is it a game? Very possible. Who knows? I think that AD is leery too and just wants proof before he, puts any. He knows it's Christopher that's writing him, but he wants to make sure that it's for a good reason and not for a game.
So he's writing him through Blair, or is he writing him seseparately? I'm confused.
He's writing him through Blair.
Oh, okay, I see.
But she says she's going to back out of it because she's afraid. And her mother, who is elderly, lives with her, and she's afraid because of Blair getting followed home.
I can't believe people are following her just because she's talking to Chris. Like, that's...
Listen, I got a death threat.
Really?
A little over a year ago, I got a death threat from another man.
Oh my God!
It wasn't a woman; it was a man that put out a death threat. My family saw it before I knew anything about it.
That's scary.
It's like people will do anything. Yeah,
I think it's interesting.
People will do anything.
That Chris Watts is choosing AD. I find that interesting, and I knowing the controversy that lies around AD And I that leads me to believe that he's definitely playing a game and wanting to say, well, look at me again.
No, I mean, I think it's because AD has probably one of the biggest followings when it comes to the Chris Watts, and he wants to, that's why I think Chris is doing it for, to be in the spotlight. So I think he picked AD because he's probably one of the biggest, is what I personally think.
Well, AD has the detective type mind and thoughts of how he likes to figure things out. And Christopher knows that he's good at figuring things out, which he is. He's good at, putting 2 and 2 and coming up with 4 instead of 6, So I think that's why, but I have seen it with my own eyes. I can tell you for a fact that he is emailing AD through Blair. And I was just like, wow. I was just flabbergasted.
I wonder what's going to happen. See, that's why I'm afraid if he's the type that just wants to please people, if he's going to go the route saying NK was involved because that's what AD thinks. Do you think, he's just going to want to please him and he's going to send him clues and it's going to end up being NK, even if it's not true, though? That's what I'm afraid of. Because he has that personality.
Yeah, I don't know. I don't really think he would throw. I don't think he would throw some. There's some people I don't think he'd throw under the bus.
Okay.
I would be shocked if he did. If he said it, I would seem to think that it was true because he made it clear before he would take some things to his grave.
Okay.
And she was one of them. So.
Okay. So the sand dunes. Do you think Jim was with him at the sand dunes? Did he say anything about Jim being there?
No. Yeah, I think it was just
Remember the law enforcement? Oh, okay.
The camping trip, you mean?
Had that picture. Oh, yeah, the camping trip. Yeah. Did I get that mixed up? Yeah. Do you think, did he say any? No, because you said he never met Jim, right?
He said he
didn't.
did.
Think you? Okay.
Unless he was trying to protect him, You got to understand some of the things I totally believed him in. Other things I did question because you just don't know. And it was because of the way his eyes would go dark and how his face would look when he told me about the murders themselves that I totally believe those. But other things you have to just, who knows,
So when they went dark, it was probably the truth then, right? Is that what you're saying?
I think so, yeah.
Okay. Well, I think I'm done with questions. You gave me a lot to think about. Jill, do you have anything?
This has been fun.
Yeah, this has been fun. Come back. Definitely. Yeah, we could go over that NK chapter, the missing chapter. I thought that was really interesting. And there's a lot of new people that have no idea about some of those details. I remember listening to that. But yeah, thank you so much for coming on. Jill, welcome. Thank you for coming on. I had fun chatting with you.
It was nice meeting you.
Nice meeting you, and let's do it again. I'm all up for
it.
Right.
So. All right. Thank you.
All right. Thank you.
Bye, guys.
Good night.
All right, guys. So I'm probably going to end this here, but maybe I might pop on for a late night live. I hope I got all your questions in. I tried to look through questions for everybody. Hopefully I got all your questions. Those were a combination of my questions and everybody's emails of questions. I try to keep popping back through chat to look for questions. I thought there's some interesting stuff. The clothes being NKs, I did not know that, guys. And what was the other thing that was kind of like, whoa? Oh, the gym and the 4th. There you go. That answers the 4th of July question. That's crazy. So, yeah, I want to let all this sink in a little bit. And hopefully... Who was getting ghosted? No, Sandy Beach, did I miss your questions? I'm sorry, I didn't. Man, I thought I was doing good. Looking for questions. Oh, Amy Celeste. She said that Chris said that bag. Remember, there were so many videos done about what was in that bag. Remember, Detective Baumhover was sitting in by the staircase. Chris was standing there. I did a couple videos on it, and he pulls out those clothes and he says, "What's these?" And Chris gets so nervous, and so it made us all think, what is with these clothes? What is he hiding? What is these clothes? She said that he told Cheryln that those clothes were NKs, but not from the morning, but actually from did she say the 14th or the 4th? They had changed clothes when she stopped over his house and she left his clothes there. So he was nervous because at that moment they didn't know he was having an affair. So he was nervous about Nicole Atkinson knowing that those clothes didn't belong to Shanann, and then maybe the detectives realizing, no, this is women's clothes. They're not. I think what he did is he probably threw in some of his jeans in with it, because remember, he does, I think the detective does pick up a pair of jeans that are like too big on him, I think. So he probably threw in some of, to hide him. And then another thing she said is that July 4th, she said that she thinks that he kind of slipped up telling the story and didn't even realize what he was saying when she was talking to him. But on July 4th, 2017, he talked about NK being at the work. Was it a 4th of July? I know it was 4th of July. I don't know if it was a work thing or if it was just a 4th of July. I think it was for work. But, and he introduced NK to Shanann. This was July 2017. So this is before she even worked there. And then how she made another connection is when Shanann's parents stayed at their house, the gym that he has in the basement, well, they stayed in the basement. So he couldn't work out in the basement because they were in the basement. So she thinks maybe that's where he met NK because he went to the gym to work out at the time. So some interesting stuff, guys. Hopefully I didn't disappoint you with my questions. I tried to ask. I asked pretty much all of them, and I had more, but as she was talking, she answered a lot of them, so I didn't have to ask all of them. So yeah, company picnic. Why couldn't I even think of the company picnic? July 4th company picnic. So that's interesting. If he's just telling his story, not even realizing like, oh, no big deal. And it kind of slipped up because it wasn't 2018. It was the year before. So I'm going to let this all sink in here. And thank you guys. I am going to end this now. Maybe I'll pop on a little bit later. Yeah, I might. I probably will. I'm going to go get a snack and get some, maybe another coffee. I can't promise, but I might pop on. Oh, thanks, Anna Crawford. Maybe we'll talk about some of the craziness going on with, well, I'm going to end it here because I don't want to, I want this just to be about the Cheryln interview. So, all right, guys. Yeah, I probably will pop on in a little bit, okay? So thank you all again, and hopefully I'll talk to you guys in a little bit. Bye.